What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com. We're doing another anniversary. This is the 25th anniversary of Double Jeopardy. I actually really enjoyed this film. So I'm actually really happy that it perfectly aligns. And also it has audio description on Paramount Plus. So just like everything, it's just like a happy day. We're having good times today. um, Just for my blind fans, I do have a black baseball cap on backwards, black sunglasses, and I'm wearing a Batman shirt that's split down the middle. It's got Batman on one side and Joker on the other. So, yeah, part of my anniversary tours for the year. This is sort of like an audience hit from 1999. I think it sort of has stood the test of time? Question mark? Like, I think this may be a film that people are still watching. It was one of those films that didn't look like it was going to be a hit, but then sort of like surprised everybody because I think there were a lot of women who were like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'd do that. I would definitely, absolutely. Yeah, go Ashley Judd. Yeah, you get him. Yeah. But in a plot that is absolutely not true. And I love how Tommy Lee Jones plays the law professor, I guess like a former law professor here. And he's like, at one point in the film, he's forced to say the line. He's like, as a former law professor, I can tell you that's absolutely true. And I was like, just because you write it in dialogue doesn't make it true. No, this is not an actual thing. If this was real life, you would not be able to do this. When you're brought up on charges, they're for a very specific time, date, and place. So you can't wait multiple years. It's never real. I don't think it's ever been done. I don't think this is actually like a real thing. So it's one of those things where it's like, good luck finding a jury that would actually convict somebody who has spent time who had already served for the murder that somebody had defrauded the government and everything into thinking that they were and lived this lifestyle. Plus in this movie, he does more nefarious shit. So I mean, like, this is not a guy that, you open this case up real fast and you're like, I think she kind of did the world a favor. I don't know about this one, but probably. I'm gonna go ahead and vote not guilty because I don't feel good about this. But we start off with a very loving couple. Just, oh my God, they just have the whole world in front of them. Played by Ashley Judd and Bruce Greenwood. And they have a little kid, Maddie. They have a best friend. She has a best friend anyway. But really, they have a best friend. And, she's going to watch Maddie while they take a romantic cruise on their boat. Because they're, wealthy enough to have a boat that is big enough to go have a cruise on. To go have like a night excursion, if you will. And one night, while she's sleeping on the boat, she wakes up and, oh my God, there's blood everywhere. And she's panicking and she doesn't know where her husband is. And suddenly, police boats show up out of nowhere. And her husband's gone. Not there. Where'd he go? Did he fall in the water? Were there pirates? I love at one point in the film, she's just maybe pirates. And I'm like, do you worry about pirates? Like, where do you live? Off the coast of what? Somalia? Like, anyway, I love the, so yeah, he's just missing. And the police investigation starts going forward. And of course, because she's innocent, she's taking it like as an innocent person. She's like, he's missing. He's healthy. He's a good swimmer. And they're like, well, the water was really cold. So I don't know. And she's like freaking out because she thinks she just lost her husband. And she's like, oh my God. Then she finds out she is the leading suspect in her husband's murder. Oh shit. So go to trial. Convict her, send her away. She's separated from her kid. She tells her best friend, hey, will you adopt my kid because I'm going to be in jail for a long time. And she's really not in jail for that long for murder. Because she's on parole rather fast for murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is This is something like, it's like, really, man? But, you know, at first her friend is like, oh yeah, we'll come by and visit. And I think they visited once, like in the beginning. Um, and then she's like, where's my kid? And tries to call. And the best friend, played by Annabeth Gish, by the way, um, is, you know, she's real cagey. And then in the background, she gets to talk to her son Maddie for like a few seconds, and then her son says, "Daddy," and then immediately he grabs the phone, hangs it up, and Ashley Judd is like, "Fuck, that motherfucker is still alive." So, uh, so she gets the help of a prison lawyer, and by prison lawyer I mean like a lawyer who's in prison. So, who advises her about this thing? She's like, you know what? You could shoot him in Times Square. It's double jeopardy. Can't do it again. Again, I cannot stress this is enough. This is not a real thing. I don't know if you as a person will ever be in this situation, but this is not a real thing. I I kind of want in my lifetime for this to be a real thing, and I want somebody to use Double Jeopardy, the movie, as the excuse and be like, well, I saw that Double Jeopardy movie with Tommy Lee Jones, and I thought I could get through this, but, you know, I'm shocked to be on trial here again. I already served time for killing once. I can't serve time twice. That's Tommy Lee Jones clearly says that in the movie. And he's never been wrong before. He's never, you know, I want that. I don't know why that killer sounds like that, but that's the voice I'm doing, and I'm sticking to it. So, yeah, it becomes a revenge thriller. It becomes I'm gonna get my son back, you motherfuckers, thriller. And somehow she gets paroled while her son is still a child, which I thought was really just sort of interesting. I'm like, okay, so he's of a functional age where he can like walk and talk and stuff like that. So he's got to be on the lowest end of 3, right? Right. You know, I'm saying, I mean, it's probably like 4 or 5. And and then later on, he's, I don't know, how long is she in jail for? Like 10 years, maybe? It's really low for murder. And then she's like on parole. And her parole officer is Tommy Lee Jones, which is excellent casting considering he got an Oscar nomination, Oscar win, right, for playing Sam Gerard. Anyway, yeah, for The Fugitive, he won for playing an FBI agent chasing down an innocent man. So why wouldn't he be the right choice to play a parole officer chasing down an innocent woman? So, yeah, so she checks in with her parole officer and basically begins the work of trying to find her husband, Nick. And therein lies the chase. I don't want to give away the ending of the movie, so that's as far as I'm going to be willing to go. But basically, you pick up most of that if you watched the trailer for the film. So that's as far. That's where we go here. Even though this film is 25 years old, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing. I swear to God, I remember the trailers to Double Jeopardy, and I know that you would get that far. It's not like they didn't just like leave you with the premise of she's in jail. Will she ever get out of jail? I don't know. Questions. It's like, well, of course she gets out of jail because the whole premise of the movie is that she's offered this chance to kill her husband a second time because of Double Jeopardy, the thing that doesn't actually exist. Anyway, this is a nice thriller. It's directed by Bruce Beresford. Beresford. Beres. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And it had some nice audio description. I've seen this film multiple times. I feel weird about saying like it's a feel-good movie, like a desert island comfort film movie, but it kind of is. It's kind of like, I kind of get why people like this film, because it's kind of like, he's such a dick. It's like, it's great to see, you know, you kind of are really rooting for Ashley Judd. It's weird to see somebody like an audience full of just like normal citizens, you know, like normal, we would never commit a crime type citizens, but they're all sitting there going, yeah, we can kill him. They're all like rooting for her, you know, and that's what made this such like a box office sensation back in the day. So, It's one of those things where it's like, this is probably one of Ashley Judd's better known movies. She kind of petered out after a little while. Um, Kind of her best known roles, where she, maybe if she was ever going to get an Oscar nomination, were films that were just read more as commercially viable. And then so she didn't get a nomination for like Kiss the Girls or this. And just, yeah, kind of escaped her. But she's good here. It reminds you why there was like a moment when Ashley Judd was still a box office star. Nowadays, she's not. I haven't seen, I don't know if she's been in anything in years. Last thing I saw was sort of like a straight to video streaming title thing. But I don't know. I don't even know if she acts anymore. She got into politics, and then I feel like she fell off the face of the earth. But talented actress that I would love to continue watching. And of course, I love Tommy Lee Jones. Who doesn't love Tommy Lee Jones? Bruce Greenwood is good in this role. This is his type of role. And I think he kind of sort of masters this role. If you ever have the stomach to watch Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix limited series, he's really good in that. It sort of is a career spent of playing roles like that led to that moment. And while he's sort of reflecting on his life within that series, I also feel like he's reflecting on the career that he's had playing roles like that, you know? So, it's a good film. And the audio description, I didn't have any problems with it, because any like major problems with it, we probably could do more racial introduction, but it's not a thing in the movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do bring that up a lot, that we don't ever mention. We do a lot of defaulting where people are just sort of, I guess, assuming people are white. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, they didn't mention it, so what's the implication? Well, probably white then, you know? We really only seem to describe people when they're ethnically diverse, not white. And honestly, the lead cast here is white. So it would be describing a lot of white people, which is, we probably should do anyway, just to break the habit of defaulting. But at the same time, plus it just gives like a richer description. It's sort of like when you're doing like a murder mystery and there's like one object that's a clue, but if you don't describe any other object, you're basically pointing out the one thing, and you're like, well, that's going to be important later. The dish is on the middle of the table, and it's like, why do I need to know that? Oh my god, that's going to be important. And then later on it is important, and you're like, well, thank you for telegraphing that. Like it may be something that's more subtle for a visual audience, but for us, it's like I always say, like, try to describe a couple things. When you're describing like a location, like if you want us to pick up on something else, be like, there's an apple on the table, next to it a dish. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that way it's like, is the apple important or is the dish important? I don't know. Maybe they're both important. Maybe neither of them are important. If you do it right, suddenly you'll normalize audio description. It's weird because it's like all companies have to do it in order for that to really become sort of like a standard. But the only way we're going to get to a point where we stop assuming everybody is white is if we actually start describing everybody, even if it doesn't require it. Like, there's nothing about this like a racial thriller at all. There's nothing in here. So yeah, I mean, I can only hammer it just so much for that. It just doesn't. Wishful thinking, but the industry is just not there. Otherwise, it's a pretty standard thriller. I mean, there are a couple scenes where you're supposed to follow the action sequences, like a couple chase sequences, and following people through something, and the reveal. There's an excellent scene that she has where he's being auctioned off, because he's, later on in the film, when she finds him, he's in a situation where he has wealth and society accepts him as a, I don't know what to say here, like a eligible bachelor. I don't know. Anyway, so he's being auctioned off as, you know, sexy man, and she keeps bidding on him, and he can hear a voice, but he can't see who it is. And I thought they did that scene really well. I think that's probably one of the better scenes in the movie, because she's moving in such a way where he never gets to see her face until the reveal, which is cool, you know, because he just has to kind of stand up there until she's secured the bidding and beat out all the other women. Really, only one other woman, who, by the way, her like retort back when she loses is, "He ain't that good anyway. Trust me, I know." You know, it's like, okay, well, apparently a lot of women here don't like you. So yeah, I don't know why she was willing to spend that much money on somebody that she wasn't that pleased with the first time around. Man whores. But yeah, that and there's just a couple of little action sequences. It's not a very super action heavy film. It sort of is. It's pretty laid out in front, and you kind of get a feeling of where it's going, but it still is exciting to see you go there. And there's still some thrill in, like, you go, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like, Ashley, you get him, Ashley. You do it. Yeah, you go get that double Jeopardy. You go. You get his ass, you know. And the film sets that up well. And Tommy Lee Jones is just, I don't know, he's just kind of here. I mean, he's here because somebody has to be, I guess, because somebody has to be a co-lead or following her around. Honestly, this whole film could have been written without him. It's made slightly more interesting because he's here, and he can take some of the weight off of Ashley Judd needing to carry the film by herself. I kind of think this film would have been a hit either way if we had cast a lesser known actor in Tommy Lee Jones's role and then he just wasn't in the film as much. I think the film still would have been a success, because I think what drew people was the concept, was this idea that somebody had heard about the term double jeopardy and they were like, what if? Now hear me out on this pitch. And then everybody was like, oh my God, that would make a super cool movie. It makes absolutely no sense, but it makes a super cool movie. And I think a lot of people think that this is actually how double jeopardy works now. I think there are a lot of people who don't have law degrees or anything like that who are like, yes, yeah, well, let me tell you about double jeopardy because I've seen the movie, you know? And it's like, no, no. Despite Tommy Lee Jones saying he's a law professor within the confines of the movie, it is absolutely not how double jeopardy works. So I just want to be responsible and send you off with that knowledge. But like I said, I like this film. Whether or not I give it that extra plus to signify whether or not it sends off, that's the only thing I'm debating here. Is like, I don't know that I have quite, like, where would I grade this film? Is it technically an A grade film? Probably not. It probably, you know, in the echelon of cinema, when I try to put, like, you know, this film against, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan, Citizen Kane, you know, films like that, I guess people are going to be like, Double Jeopardy has the same. No, it shouldn't have. But at the same time, it absolutely does exactly what it's supposed to do, which is entertain. And I don't think we put enough weight in that. We always look for the cinematic quality of something instead of just I sat down for 2 hours, hour and a half, hour 45, whatever it is. I was fully entertained and engaged the whole time. And as a bonus, I watched it again, and I was fully entertained and engaged and enjoyed it the whole time. And as a bonus again, I watched it for a third time, and I was fully engaged. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something about that, the rewatchability factor of a film, that just is really undervalued. There are plenty of films that I can say, wow, that's a great film. That's an A-level film. I never want to see it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, the quality, the craft, the technical aspect of it, perfection. Never want to see it again in my entire life. Double Jeopardy, I've seen it, I don't know, like 7 or 8 times. So I own it on DVD, and when I saw it had audio description on Paramount Plus and noticed it was its 25th anniversary, I was like, yes, doing it. We're doing it again. I'm gonna follow Ashley Judd on her journey to kill her husband in a move that makes absolutely no legal sense whatsoever, but it just feels right. Anyway, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna give Double Jeopardy an A, because I think it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and that is entertain. So if you haven't seen Double Jeopardy, check it out. It's on Paramount Plus with audio description right now. I don't know what happens when this movie travels, so pray for it. I don't know if the audio description travels or not, but at least we know there is a recorded audio description track for this film. That's important, because it means then we can pressure people into making sure the audio description track travels. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.